Jameis Winston, Justin Fields, Geno Smith, Jacoby Brissett, J.J. McCarthy, Tua, Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence, C.J. Stroud.
I'll take C.J. Stroud.
Shedeur Sanders, was he great? Played good enough.
Yeah.
And they just played good enough where you let them hang around. And you hate that as a coach. You're sitting there going, guys, let's go, let's go. All of a sudden it's the fourth quarter and this game is tight. Cleveland is gaining confidence as this thing goes on.
Shedeur Sanders is certainly a candidate at minimum for the play to win the game. But to your point earlier, this is now the fourth straight road loss for the Steelers in Cleveland. That's their longest.
Win the game and lock up the division. That was the message bouncing around the locker room as the Pittsburgh Steelers walked into Cleveland with confidence dripping off every step. All the pressure was supposed to be on one side of the field, and it wasn't theirs. Pittsburgh had everything lined up perfectly. Win tonight, celebrate tonight, move on tomorrow. Simple math, simple mission, simple outcome. Or so they thought. On the other side, the Cleveland Browns were treated like background noise, written off, labeled a formality. To most people watching, Cleveland wasn't an opponent. They were just a speed bump on the road to someone else's celebration. But football doesn't care about narratives, and it definitely doesn't respect assumptions. What unfolded wasn't flashy. It wasn't explosive. It was something far more uncomfortable for Pittsburgh. This wasn't just a low-scoring game. It was a slow, methodical unraveling. A quiet collapse paired with a calm, steady statement from a team everyone said had nothing left to say. And standing right in the center of it all was Shedeur Sanders, cool, patient, and locked in like a veteran who's seen this movie before.
They kind of fell in the same line of thinking that the Packers did. We'll just throw everything at them and see if we can muster effort to win without it.
Still as confident as ever that you get the record next week?
Absolutely. Why shouldn't I be?
What getting through?
4 more quarters, 60 more minutes, however you want to draw it up.
While the national spotlight stayed glued to Aaron Rodgers and playoff math, the real story was quietly taking shape underneath the surface. Because when you let a young quarterback hang around long enough, something dangerous happens. He stops playing not to lose and starts playing to win. This was the night where survival turned into control. This was the night where Cleveland flipped the script and turned confidence into panic. This was the story of how the Browns completely wrecked Pittsburgh's plans without ever raising their voice. Before diving deeper, this moment matters. Make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We bring real football stories, real breakdowns, and real moments that the headlines ignore every single day. Your support keeps this channel growing and allows these stories to be told the right way. Pittsburgh came in believing this game already belonged to them. You could feel it in the body language. You could feel it in the pacing. You could feel it in the way they approached the night like it was already decided. The plan was clean and predictable. Control the tempo. Avoid big mistakes. Let experience take over. On paper, it looked flawless. Cleveland, meanwhile, was dealing with injuries, depth issues, and zero respect. The weather was ugly.
A lot of credit. Shedeur Sanders, was he great? Played good enough.
Yeah.
And they just played good enough where you let them hang around. And you hate that as a coach. You're sitting there going, guys, let's go, let's go. All of a sudden it's the fourth quarter and this game is tight.
The conditions were sloppy. The score didn't need to shine. All Pittsburgh had to do was play steady, boring football and walk out with the division. But football never stays on paper. From the opening drives, something felt off. Cleveland's defense came out swinging. The pass rush hit early and often. Coverage windows disappeared. Throws felt rushed. Timing was disrupted. And suddenly, this didn't feel like a team strolling into a celebration. It felt like a team slowly realizing they had walked into a trap they never prepared for. Every snap tightened the pressure. Every third down got louder. Cleveland didn't need explosive plays. They needed belief. And that belief started spreading from the defense to the sideline, then straight into the huddle. Shedeur Sanders never forced it, never panicked, never tried to play hero ball. He stayed patient, trusted the system, and kept the chains moving inch by inch. That calm energy infected the entire offense. Pittsburgh expected resistance, not confidence. They expected mistakes, not discipline. And the longer Cleveland stayed within striking distance, the heavier the moment became for the Steelers. That's how games flip. Not with chaos, but with control. Not with noise, but with precision. And by the time Pittsburgh realized this wasn't going according to script, The game had already started slipping through their fingers. This wasn't luck. This wasn't weather. This was preparation meeting opportunity at the worst possible time for Pittsburgh. This was Cleveland getting back to who they really are. Shedeur Sanders did not walk into this game trying to play hero ball, and that's exactly why the momentum slowly but surely tilted in the Browns' favor. He understood the assignment from the very first snap. Protect the football, stay on schedule, trust the defense. Take exactly what the game gives you and nothing more. This wasn't about highlight clips or social media buzz. This wasn't about forcing throws into tight windows just to prove a point. This was about survival football, and Shedeur Sanders played it the right way from start to finish. Early in the game, Cleveland leaned all the way into discipline. Field position mattered. Short drives mattered. Smart decisions mattered. Punting when necessary was part of the plan, not a failure.
When you let go of an opportunity like that, you clinch. How difficult is it to bounce back? You know you got one more shot.
I mean, it's not difficult. That's our job, playing all 17.
Every possession ended without panic, and that calm energy spread fast. To casual fans, it may have looked boring, but to players on that sideline, it felt like control. That's how belief quietly grows. You look around the huddle, then the sideline, and suddenly you realize you belong in this fight. The Cleveland Browns weren't surviving anymore. They were settling in. Meanwhile, the Pittsburgh Steelers kept leaving the door open. A missed read here, a stalled drive there. Nothing exploded all at once, but nothing landed clean either. Against a top-5 defense like Cleveland, you can't afford to waste chances early. When you don't strike first, doubt creeps in, and Cleveland felt it. You could see it on the sideline. Every defensive stop added belief. Every incomplete pass from Aaron Rodgers made the moment heavier. This game was slowly shifting, snap by snap. The Browns weren't supposed to be here mentally.
Do everything he could to get away from Myles Garrett, but your defense kept him out of the end zone. What can you say about their standout performance today at home?
The defense is great. I know a couple of weeks they had something to prove, but I feel like they stamped it. They got back to who
they were supposed to be thinking about the offseason, about vacations, about what comes next. Instead, they looked comfortable in a dogfight, comfortable in the mud, comfortable playing ugly football. The turning point wasn't a touchdown, it wasn't a turnover, it was time. The longer this game stayed close, the more it favored Cleveland. That truth has been preached forever. Herm Edwards said it best when he talked about how dangerous it is to let a team hang around. Coaches preach it every week in every meeting room across the league for a reason. Once you reach the fourth quarter, talent levels out, the noise gets louder, the pressure flips, and suddenly the team that was supposed to win starts playing tight. That's where Shedeur Sanders showed why this moment matters for his career. He didn't rush throws. He didn't force passes into double coverage. He didn't chase the moment or try to do too much. He let the defense lead the way. He let the clock work in his favor. When Cleveland finally found offensive rhythm, it felt earned. Every yard mattered. Every completion had purpose. This wasn't backyard football. This was grown man football, and it rattled Pittsburgh. You could see the frustration stacking up on the Steelers' sideline. They expected Cleveland to fold, and Cleveland flat out refused. Pittsburgh tried everything. Quick throws, middle-of-the-field routes, end-zone shots. Nothing stuck. Cleveland's defense refused to blink.
Gives you that confidence you guys are being able to right the ship next week?
Because we've done it all season. We've handled adversity well, and we had to play our best ball. Yeah, we did, other than today.
Denzel Ward nearly ended it with an interception that would have lived on highlight reels for years. The goal line stands were brutal. Fourth down after fourth down. And every miss felt heavier than the last. Because now the Steelers weren't just losing points. They were losing control of their own destiny. This is the type of game that defines a rookie season. It separates pretenders from contenders. It shows who can stay calm when everything tightens up. If you love Shah, then comment SS 100% down below. Let everyone know you see the growth and respect the composure. The moment kept repeating itself, and Cleveland kept answering. Shedeur Sanders didn't need to dominate the stat sheet. He didn't need flash. He needed steadiness. And steady beats nervous every single time in December. That was always an impossible standard to begin with. This game was never about proving he was something he isn't. This was about proving he belonged in this moment, on this field with everything tight and tense. And that's exactly what Shedeur Sanders did. He didn't look overwhelmed. He didn't look rushed. In fact, at times he looked like the veteran, while the veteran on the other sideline looked lost. And hanging over the entire night like a dark cloud was Myles Garrett.
I'm pulling for Shedeur Sanders. I'll tell you, they have been through 4 number 1 quarterbacks drafted, not to mention Watson, who they brought over. None of them have worked. None of them so far. So I'm saying to Cleveland, I hope this is your answer, so it's over with. You got your quarterback. This guy, last week did things that were impressive. He had that it factor, making deep throws, moving out Howie, the long one down to the sideline while he was sprinting out to the 1 yard line, handled the blitz well, handled it all well. This 49er team, the only thing that's going to help equalize this is that stinking weather. It is freaking cold in Cleveland, rainy, windy off that lake. Hello, folks.
Even without breaking any sack records, he changed everything about how Pittsburgh Steelers were forced to operate. You could see it in the play design, in the protection schemes, in the hesitation before every snap. Pittsburgh built an entire game plan around avoiding one man. Quick releases, extra blockers, tight ends staying home, drives carefully crafted just to survive Myles Garrett. That alone tells you the respect level. But Cleveland didn't rely on just one star to win this game. This was a collective effort from start to finish. The defense trusted the offense not to mess it up. The offense trusted the defense to keep them alive. And Shedeur Sanders sat right in the middle of that trust, calmly orchestrating the plan without forcing anything. He wasn't freelancing. He wasn't panicking. He was managing the game exactly how it needed to be managed. When the clock finally hit 0, the scoreboard told one story. 13-6, ugly, low scoring, nothing flashy. But the moment told a completely different story. The Cleveland Browns didn't just win a game. They took confidence straight from a team that expected to walk out celebrating with division hats and t-shirts. The Steelers technically didn't lose the division that night, but they lost something just as important: momentum. And momentum is everything heading into January. Losing momentum to a team with a losing record hits different. It sticks. And Herm Edwards made it crystal clear on the post-game show. This was a bad loss for Pittsburgh, not because it ended their season, but because it exposed them. It showed the league what happens when explosive plays disappear. It showed what happens when timing breaks down and there's no backup plan. It showed flaws that hadn't been tested in weeks. You saw it with DK Metcalf, struggling to create separation against tight man coverage. When things went sideways, there was no quick answer, no counterpunch, and that's dangerous at this stage of the season. For Cleveland, heading into a must-win finale against Baltimore Ravens, this game wasn't validation because it was perfect. It was validation because it was earned in the mud, in bad weather, in a grinded-out environment. Shedeur Sanders played good enough, and sometimes that's all it takes to win in this league. Quarterbacks don't need to dominate every snap to be effective. They need to understand the moment. And this moment did not overwhelm him. He looked comfortable in chaos. Comfortable with pressure closing in. Comfortable letting the game come to him. That's why people are calling this a signature win. Not because of stats, not because of headlines, but because of growth. This was a young quarterback managing a high-pressure situation against a veteran legend with the entire season watching. And he didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He stood tall in the pocket and delivered when it mattered most. Now the Steelers head into Week 18 with absolutely everything on the line. The Ravens are waiting. A rivalry game. A physical game. A Derrick Henry type of game. And suddenly the pressure feels heavier than it has all season. Because now there's doubt in that locker room. Now there's film on how to slow him down. Now there are questions about explosiveness, discipline, and adaptability. Pittsburgh is limping into the most important game of their season because Cleveland refused to lay down. Cleveland, meanwhile, walks away with belief. Belief that their defense can carry them against anyone. Belief that their quarterback can manage chaos and not lose the game. Belief that they aren't just spoilers, but real competitors. And that is a dangerous realization for the rest of the AFC North. Football seasons turn on moments exactly like this. Quiet wins. Games that don't dominate highlight reels on SportsCenter. Games that feel ugly to watch, frustrating to explain, and uncomfortable to accept if you're on the wrong side. But for people who truly understand the sport, these are the games that reveal the truth. And the truth here is simple. When you let a young quarterback hang around long enough, something changes. He stops being the underdog. He stops being the easy out. He stops being the quarterback you expect to eventually fold. And instead, he becomes the reason you lose. Shedeur Sanders did not need fireworks to make his statement. No flashy stat line, no viral throws, no manufactured hype. He let the game come to him. He trusted the plan. He trusted his defense. He trusted the moment. And most importantly, he trusted himself. When he walked off the field, he didn't leave with eye-popping numbers. He walked off with something far more valuable in this league: respect. Respect from his teammates who saw him stay calm when things got tight. Respect from his coaches who watched him manage the game without forcing anything. And yes, respect from the Pittsburgh Steelers, a franchise that does not hand out respect easily. That's why this win will be remembered. Not because it was loud, not because it was flashy, but because of how steady it felt from start to finish. This was the night Shedeur Sanders proved he could win ugly. And in the AFC North, winning ugly isn't just accepted, it's respected. It's survival football. It's December football. It's how teams stay alive when conditions get rough and expectations get heavy. The Cleveland Browns didn't just steal a win, they sent a message. A quiet one, but a clear one. They are not done fighting. They are not folding the tent. They are not just playing out the schedule. They showed the league that their defense travels, that their toughness holds up in bad weather, and that their quarterback doesn't need perfection to lead. That matters going forward. Because when teams turn on the film, they won't just see a low-scoring game. They'll see discipline. They'll see patience. They'll see a quarterback who understands how to survive chaos without creating more of it. That's dangerous. This wasn't about shocking the league overnight. It was about laying a foundation, about building belief inside that locker room, about showing that this group can handle pressure without cracking. And belief is powerful in this league. Shedeur Sanders is just getting started. This was another step, another rep, another moment added to the resume. He proved he can manage high-pressure situations without shrinking. He proved the moment doesn't scare him. That's how careers are built, not with one throw, but with nights like this. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe for more NFL deep dives and real football conversations. And don't forget to drop SS 100% in the comments if you believe in the future of Cleveland football. We'll be covering every snap of the playoffs and the offseason right here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.